Okay, we're going to start by taking the tag off. Let's just get rid of that thing. Toss. Okay, we're going to paint our witch and cauldron all black. Don't forget to do the sides. We want it to look finished. And voila, magic. Look at that. I'm already almost done. Do your sides. Let's make it look finished. It's very important you do the sides. Let that dry. We're going to take our frame apart. And I'm taking the glass out. I'm not going to use my glass. I'm just getting rid of that. Putting my frame aside for after, for later. Yeah, later. I'm flipping over the print that came with my frame, and I am using the mineral chalk paint. Sorry, getting tongue-tied. And I am just going to paint the whole entire thing. All of it. I am going to get the black paint now, and I'm going to dry brush. I don't let it dry. I like to dry brush when everything is still wet, just so it blends and bleeds in together really nice. I put the black paint on my sponge brush, and I dab it a little bit off on my napkin. You can use paper towel, napkin, paper towel, whatever you want. And now I'm dry brushing. Now I'm doing my sides. I wanted to have a finished look. Look at that. Nice. Can't express, you guys, to do your sides. You want it to look done, finished, complete. Nice. I want it to look spooky. Ooh. Now I'm putting a little bit more mineral over the black. See how nice that blends in? Blends in very nice. Now I'm getting the white chalk Waverly paint, and I'm doing the same method. I'm putting some on my brush and then dabbing it on my paper towel and just putting a little bit on top. You just keep doing that process until you like it. If it's too light, put some more dark. If it's too dark, put some more light. Just to do it till your heart's content, till you're happy with it and smiling. Now when I'm happy with it, I'm smiling, I put it aside to let it dry. Now I'm doing my googly eyes. I got a handful of googly eyes and just painted them all with the white chalk, Waverly chalk paint. And I'm telling you guys, it was easy. That paint covered those eyeballs. You didn't have to keep going over it and over it. Now I'm just dipping it into my white iridescent glitter. I'm not gonna torture you and have you guys watch me do all these eyeballs. So I'm only doing a few, so just so you can get the idea of what I'm doing. Again, painting the eyeballs, my googly eyes, dipping it in the glitter, and then putting them aside and letting them dry. Easy as that. Now back to our witch. We are just going to put Mod Podge all over the cauldron. Just the cauldron. And we want to be generous with this. We want to put a lot of Mod Podge on the cauldron, because we're going to put our rocks on this. So only the cauldron we are putting Mod Podge. Now we're going to put our black pebble rocks all over our cauldron, and we're just going to spread it around lightly, and we just pour the whole, as much as we can, on top of the cauldron. We're going to lift our witch up very slowly. I'm just patting it real nice and soft, just to get it all in there, laying flat. Pick up my witch slowly, let the excess fall off. I tap it real lightly, not hard, just lightly. And now I'm going to put it aside to let it dry some. After it dried a little bit, now we're gluing our eyeballs, well, they're not googly eyes anymore. We made bubbles. Yep, we created our own bubbles. And now I'm just gluing the bubbles on my cauldron. different sizes, just pile them on top of each other. I want it to look like it's just oozing out of the cauldron, just bubbling out. And now I'm adding my pearl beads in there. I didn't put a lot, I just put a little bit in here and there, wherever you want to put them. You can put a lot if you want. They look really pretty mixed in there. I'm just putting a few up on top, and I put some in, I'm just putting them wherever. Just put them wherever you want. Now I'm getting my rope string, and I'm just going to wrap a piece of it 3 times. I wrapped it around the witch's hat. And then I double knotted it. I tied it into a knot, double knotted it, nice and tight. And then I just cut off the excess. Now I'm putting the little star gems on the witch's hat because my little witchy poo loves to have gems and pearls. I think every girl needs some pearls and some gems, right? Even a little witchy poo. I just trim off the little hairs. Now I'm putting the Mod Podge over the cloak of my witch. And you'll see her hair. When you look at your witch, you'll see that she has hair. It's like a silhouette of her hair. Well, I just went from underneath her chin, followed the hairline where it would be, and made a cloak on my witch. And that's where I put my Mod Podge. I open up the glitter, the black glitter, and just sprinkle it all on top of the cloak, where the cloak would be, on top of the Mod Podge where the cloak would be. I'm getting the excess glitter and just sprinkling a little more here and there. And I'm going to sprinkle some right on top of the cauldron so it can fall in between the rocks, not on the bubbles. Do not put it on the bubbles. You don't want black glitter on the bubbles, but just in the rock area where the rocks are. So it falls in between. The Mod Podge is still a little wet and it'll stick very nicely. We let that dry, and now we get our paper. I folded my paper in half and cut it, tore it, cut it, whatever, in half. And I just started writing double double, toil and trouble, fire burn, cauldron bubble, something wicked, this way comes. And that's what I chose to write. I chose to write that because that's what gave me my inspiration. When I seen the witch, the little wooden witch at Dollar Tree, that's what came to mind, was this saying, cauldron bubble. And that's where I got my vision of doing what I'm doing. So you can write it. Don't be afraid to handwrite it. I don't have the best handwriting, but I do it anyway. Why not? It's yours. It's ours. It's mine. That's mine. You make yours. You could do trick or treat, happy Halloween, witch's brew. You can use wooden letters and paint them and add it on your picture, and that'll be cute. Just whatever you want to do to it. But I chose to do it this way. I wanted it to look like the witch wrote her own. It came out of her own spell book. That's what I'm looking for. Like it came out of her own spell book. She wrote this. I'm just going over it now with my black painter's pen. Sorry if you can hear my son, my little monster in the background. He's playing his Xbox right now. Yeah, he likes playing Xbox. You know, teenagers. So now I'm putting something wicked. This way comes. You know, it makes it a little more special because you write it. When you're writing it with your own handwriting, kind of makes it a little more, I don't know, dear to you. Special. And there it is. Yes, I am tearing my paper. I am going to tear just around the words on the edges of the paper. I hold down where the letter is, pinching it where my letters are, and then I just tear around my finger just so I don't tear the letters, the words. And you just hold it down and tear just little tears around your fingers. You have control of where it tears when you do that. There you go. Now I'm using this coffee method. It's instant coffee. Put gloves on if you don't want your hands to smell like coffee all day. But you know what? I don't care. I'm a crafty girl and I'm not afraid to get dirty. Now I'm making me a foil tray. And I just keep putting it into the coffee until it's to the way I want it. Until I'm smiling. I'm happy with it. And I'm just tearing little holes in the center between the words just to make it look old and ancient. And this, I'm trying to get a leathery look, an old leathery look, an old script paper. Look at that. Yes. And I'm going to flatten it all out on my foil tray that I made. You can use wax paper also. That works very good with this. And you just flatten it all out because the way you flatten it, that's the way it's going to dry. And after it's all flat, we're going to put that aside and we're going to let that dry. Now back to our witch. Now I'm putting Mod Podge on the whole thing. I'm just going to Mod Podge the whole entire thing now. The cauldron, the bubbles, the pearls, the cloak, her hand, her stick, her face, her hat. Everything is getting Mod Podged over. I'm getting all in there. See that? I just, you want plenty on the rocks, on top of the pebble rocks, because I really want them to stay really nice and tight and stay where they're at. And there you go. On her face, her hair, her hat, everything. When I said everything, I meant everything. I know it's loud in my house today. My house is alive today. It's loud. Sorry. Now I'm just fixing the string on my hat, just making sure it's the way I want it so it to dry that way. Now I'm just painting my frame. I'm using Waverly chalk paint. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. You know how to paint a frame. Not going to bore you with that. I just painted the whole entire frame. Put it aside, let it dry, and as it's drying, I now get to my paper because that's dry. And I start peeling it off the foil tray just like a sticker. I know it looks like I'm being a little rough, but you got to be gentle at this point. I just peel it off slowly. It looked quick, but no, real time, it was slowly. Now I'm putting Mod Podge all over my print that I painted. Is that what you say, print? It was a print. If you do not have a print in your frame, you can always use a poster board or you can use foam board and make your own. And just paint it. So now I'm just painting the Mod Podge over it, one direction. And I'm going to place my paper right on top of that. And it should stick pretty good. And you're just going to lay it out and you're going to flatten it and you're going to lay it the way you want it to look, the way you want it to lay when it dries on there. Because it is going to stick. And mine's torn. It's okay. If something tears, keep going, moving forward. It's okay. Work with it. It'll all work out. Don't stress. That's all. But I'm still using it. I want it to look old. I wanted it to look, you know, like it came out of an old witch's book, an old spell. And I'm just smashing it on down, pushing it down, making sure it's sticking really well. And now I'm getting the Sharpie and I'm just going over some of the letters that I want to pop out. I want it to pop. I'm just going over some of it that I really want it to stand out, some of the words. And you just relax, take your time doing this. You want to relax and have fun. When you craft, that's what it's about, is having fun, relaxing. Now I'm putting Mod Podge right over the paper. I already did the whole thing, so I'm not doing the whole thing again. I just dab it on the top of the paper, just so the paper has it and it's safe on top. It's protected. I'm not smearing it because I don't want to tear the paper. I am just dabbing it. And now I'm adding the star gems on there, here and there. Just different places, little star gems within the paper. Not a lot, just a little few of them, see? And they stick pretty good with the Mod Podge. I didn't have to use a hot glue gun. I just stuck them on there while it was wet. I noticed my witch needed a little something more, so I added these little wooden sticker pumpkins and I glued them together after I painted them to the bottom of my witch. I painted one with the white Rivoli paint, one with the mineral, and one of them was orange already with glitter on it, so that worked for me. I made a little bow out of the twine and I just put it underneath her chin so it looks like that's where her cloak is tied. Now back to my frame. My frame is dry, so I'm going to flip it on over. And I'm adding some hot glue all around the edge. See that? I'm just doing it right underneath, right on the edge. And I'm gonna just push that on in there. I put some hot glue around in the back so so it's nice and snug. So I make sure it doesn't move anywhere, make sure it don't go nowhere. So I'm just putting some hot glue, just a little bit here and there, along the sides of the back of the picture. Push down on it, making sure it's not going to go nowhere. And there we have it. It's on there. See? Now I'm going to glue my rope string, what I used on the witch's hat, and I'm just going along the edge of my picture frame. And I'm just gluing it all the way around it. You get the idea, right? Just going completely around. Well, at this point I want to say, if you are returning to my channel, thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that you're returning, and that means you like what I'm doing. And if you're new and you happen to stop on by and pop in, well, thank you for that too. Welcome. I appreciate that. I hope you subscribe and give me a big thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. So thank you. Leave me some comments below. Let me know if you want me to keep doing some Halloween, or if you guys want me to do something else. Just give me some ideas. I mean, just throw them out there. You know what? You should make this, or you know what? Try to make that, or just let me know. Talk to me. I would like to talk to you guys and see what you think, what I'm doing. So I'm done gluing that, and now I'm going to start gluing my witch, and I'm just going to put it on the side, glue on the side where the frame meets the witch, where it touches, and I put it flush to the bottom of the frame, evenly to the bottom of the frame. Oh, I took some of the bubbles off. I'm confessing. I am confessing. So you don't look at it and say, where do her bubbles go? I took some of those bubbles off because I was not happy with it. And I took them off, and I'm now putting them where I want them to be again. I'm like rearranging my bubbles. But that kind of shows you guys that, you know, nothing says just because you put it there, it has to stay there. If you're not happy with it and you're not smiling about it, then you know what? Take them off and redo it. Take them off and change it. Nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm doing. I mean, if you don't want the white bubbles, paint them green, paint them blue, purple. Wow, that would be really cool, purple. Now I'm putting my pearl beads on there. See, and I just changed it really quick to what I wanted. I thought I wanted it the other way, but no, I changed my mind. But I'm allowed to do that. I'm a woman. That's my prerogative, right? I can change my mind anytime I want. You know us ladies. And there we have it. My bubbles. See how it's on the bottom of the witch was even with the bottom of the frame. And there we have it. My bubbles. The little star gems within the paper. Now I'm putting I wanted some smoke. And I thought, well, you know what? Let me make it out of the string. It matches the string around the frame, and it matches on the hat. So what I did was I put some glue on the bottom of the string and just pushed it on behind the cauldron and the witch. It goes right behind there, and it sticks really nice. Then I put a drop of glue where I wanted my swirl to start. So I laid it right there, see that? And I pushed it right there, the end, where I wanted my swirl to start. And I just put little dots, exactly like, kind of like polka dots, you know? You put the line, polka dots. or how do you say it? The dots, follow the dots. I just put the dots and then I just put my rope right on there. And I made me little swirls of smoke. You don't have to use the string. You guys can also use like paint swirls in there. If you don't want to paint swirls, you can use puffy paint to make swirls. And if you don't want smoke, don't put smoke. Just leave it blank. And there you have it. See? Oh yeah, I did paint my witch green. I'm sorry I did not show that. This video was long enough for me. I know it probably long enough for you. I just painted her green. I thought I wanted her to pop a little more, my witch. And I painted her face green and her hand. And yeah, her hand looks a little funky, but hey, I'm not a professional painter, so it is what it is. Long as what? I'm smiling about my project. I put some little white lines on her hair too.